Well, immigrant families across Southern California are closely watching the Supreme Court as it weighs in on President Trump's push to end birthright citizenship. And our Taylor Torgano joins me now in studio, and she's going to introduce us to a local family with mixed immigration status worried about their future. Good morning, Taylor.
Good morning to you, Kel. This case gets a little in the weeds, so stick with me. When Trump first entered office, he signed an executive order that ended birthright citizenship. But after Trump signed that order, more than 300 lawsuits were filed across the country challenging it. Those cases were decided in what's called federal district courts, and 3 judges determined that Trump's order was not constitutional, issuing what's called an injunction, which blocked Trump's policy across the nation. But do those lower court judges have that authority? That is what the Supreme Court is discussing.
Every day, 11-year-old Itsiana reads as much as she can, sometimes from children's books, but her personal favorite is the Bible.
For me, I like these better than the other ones because I think it helps me learn.
She taught herself English by reading because her parents only speak Spanish. They're undocumented immigrants from Guatemala who came here 25 years ago for a better opportunity and to offer their future children a true chance at success. But these days, she says living here brings a lot of fear and uncertainty.
Especially my dad, that encourages me to learn more, read more, and learn about the world and life.
She's emotional thinking about what would happen if she was separated from her parents and nephew. Itsiana was born here in the U.S., making her a citizen, but President Donald Trump has issued an executive order to end birthright citizenship. It's a directive that was blocked by the lower courts after more than 300 lawsuits were filed challenging Trump's order. Thursday, protesters chanted outside as the case made it all the way to the Supreme Court that was divided as it discussed whether those federal judges in lower courts had the power to issue an injunction that essentially blocks a nationwide order from the president. It's extraordinary, says UCLA law professor Hiroshi Motomura, because there hasn't been a case with an executive order that goes so much against the grain in a law like the 14th Amendment that was settled by the Supreme Court more than 100 years ago.
The issue before the court for discussion is, can a single federal district court block the executive order nationwide?
Professor Motomura says some justices have expressed skepticism of nationwide injunctions, but could say in this case over birthright citizenship, a nationwide injunction is appropriate to maintain continuity in each state across the country. The justices have not yet come to a conclusion, but the discussion alone is a cause for concern, says Itsiana's father, Juanito. He says he fears they won't be able to leave their community because of the looming threat of deportation that now follows them wherever they go.
I don't think that's right because even if your parents are from a different country, I think you should still be a U.S. citizen.
A widely accepted constitutional right that legal experts now expect to come back before the Supreme Court at a later date.
Now, a decision on the case of federal judges' power to issue a nationwide injunction is expected by early summer, but legal experts say the birthright citizenship discussion is likely to revisit the Supreme Court as well.
Well, if it does, you're talking about going to the Supreme Court. Where do the justices stand at this point?
They went back and forth quite a bit yesterday, one even questioning the original meaning of the 14th Amendment, saying it only originally guaranteed citizenship to the children of former slaves, while others questioned how an end to birthright citizenship could even be enforced. But in the matter of lower court power, there was an uncertainty among the justices, particularly when it comes to how long it could take for a case to make its way to the Supreme Court if those district court judges do not have the authority to impose a nationwide injunction.
Yeah, everybody's watching this for a few different reasons why they're paying attention. All right, Taylor, thank you, as always.